Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics. How you doing? Welcome to the Fantasy MD's Baseball Podcast. Today is May 2nd, 2022, episode 18. Your host, Dominic Martino. Here with my co-host, as always, Matthew Ane. Matt, what's going on, my brother? How you doing? Week 4.
Chilling, man. Been a rough 3 weeks for me in fantasy between injuries and, just bats not hitting. But, we'll struggle through, and we'll get me a ship at the end of the year.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum there. I'm doing great in both my big money leagues and hanging in there in my other leagues too, near the top of the rankings. But it's still early yet. As you can see, both sides of the spectrum here with myself and my brother over here. I'd say don't panic yet, guys. If you're not doing not doing well, and if you're doing good, keep it up. Don't slack off now. So we're gonna start with the finger on the pulse segment as always. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a real or fake. And, we got 2 good ones for you. This segment, every week, we're going to try and highlight some names or something we haven't spoken about, in the past, and just keep something that's on top of everybody's minds. And coming to the end of the month here in April, man, we got a pitcher for you, Kevin Gausman, looking fantastic. I'm going to read you his numbers here. So far, he's had 5 starts. It's he's 2-1. 2.27 ERA for Gausman, 31.2 innings pitched, 41 strikeouts, and 0.97 WHIP. So he's looking like he's off to a hot start. And Matt, I'm just going to start off and I'm saying real. I'm saying real on this one. I'm just going to point back to last year. The last 2 years with the Giants looked like he was really breaking out after leaving Baltimore. And I mean, Baltimore notoriously in the past hasn't really been too great with pitching. So I think he's this is starting to look like the real Kevin Gausman going forward. Get some big strikeouts, good ERA and good whip. Looking like a top, 25 pitcher to me, maybe even top 20.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. What's funny is I actually had him buried in my rankings because I actually did not think last year was real. I really just thought, it's just going to be one of those things where, the big arm talent finally showed up for 1 year and then it's going to flop. And it's turning out it's going to be the exact opposite. And he kind of picked up right where he left off because last year he had 14 wins with San Francisco, 227 Ks, 2.81 ERA with a 104 whip. I mean, you can't ask for better. And the fact that he's continuing this is high hopes. And you know what? I'm kind of writing him in as a top 20 arm for the rest of the year with upside to break top 15. This thing is beyond real at this point. So, let's move on to the next guy, and that's Nathan Avaldi. Somebody that I'm really not a fan of, and personally, I really just don't like the guy's career at all. I just think he's just a gross pitcher. But he's starting off hot. Yeah, but he's somebody that is starting off hot. So we're gonna talk about him, and I mean, here's what he's doing so far this year. In 28 innings, he has 1 win, 32 Ks, 2.51 ERA, and 94 whip, 0.94 whip. It's really good. It's really good. He's having a great start. But I mean, I think we'll see the Ks because he's kind of like a K per 9 guy. But I think the ERA kind of shoots right up. Last year he finished with a 3.75, but I personally wouldn't be surprised if he finishes with a 4.09. And that's where that's kind of where he kind of lives. So everybody's getting ready to probably crown him as the Avaldi. He's finally figured it out. There's always that every year, and then he flops. So he's probably going to have a couple bad starts, and then he'll have a couple good weeks, and then a couple bad starts again. And that's just his pattern. He's just super inconsistent. That's why he ends up with a high ERA.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say we're in sync here on Nathan Avaldi. The thing with him is I think if I remember correctly, I forget whether it was a hot start or a hot finish last year for Eovaldi, but he had a run there where he was off to a similar statistics that he's putting up now. But with Avaldi, like Matt said, he's always been kind of a high ERA guy. You're going to get good strikeouts. You know what? The whip may be around a 1.2, which isn't horrible. It's not killing you, but it's not really helping you that much either. So I just think that if you're buying him as a top 25, top 30 pitcher, I don't really see that. He's more of a top 50, 60 guy. I even see him in more shallow leagues like the 10s. He's a streamer in those leagues for me. I'm not saying drop him right now, but I'm saying, if you can go out there and you could trade him for somebody that's, off to a slow start, Go out there and get that done. Even if you have to throw something else in, I'll tell you, somebody that I'm still targeting in trades, and I even sent out an offer today in one of my other leagues, Matt, was Brandon Woodward, one of your boys. If you could package together Nathan Avaldi with a bat that may be doing well, or somebody overplaying what they normally do. Get them out there in an offer for Brandon Woodruff because he's going to bounce back. That's just how I'm looking at Avaldi. So Matt and I both agree, and that's a fake on Nathan Avaldi. So I'd say keep a pushing on him. So we're going to hit you with the news and notes right now. Here's one that kind of Matt and I have been warning you about. We're not really going to get into the details of what exactly what he did and everything. But that's Trevor Bauer. Don't know what's going to happen at this point, but it looks like the MLB gave him a 2-year suspension, and time served is not counting for any of the times where they kept extending his leave. So he has no time served. So it's 2 years from now, and it's not even now because he's appealing, and he cannot play during the appeal process. So he's a drop in every league. Matt and I have been telling you that for weeks and weeks and weeks. At this point, all right, Trevor Bauer, see ya. Not even going to give that guy any more time of day. Looks like Chris Bryant hitting the IL with the back injury. Looks like it's going to be a minimum stay. He should be back sooner than later. Sit him. I mean, at this point, sorry, it's a little late. We're hitting you on Tuesday, but if you can, just get him on your benches. Jonathan India back on the IL with the same hamstring injury that was bothering him, a couple weeks ago. Not looking good there. If you got the room on the IL, stash him. If you don't, I'm going to say see you later. Matt, India, just want to get your thoughts there because he had a great, rookie of the year last year. You holding him? I mean, if you got the spot, if you don't got the spot, you're dropping him.
In Dynasty, I am.
Dynasty, you got to hold. Great call.
But redraft, that's tough. I mean, here's how I'm gonna pose it for everybody, right? If you're a big fan and you think he's gonna go off, keep him. I mean, it's not like he's having a bad year. He just hasn't hit a bomb yet. But he's not really like a home run guy. Yeah. And he hasn't stolen any bases yet, which is more something I would expect more of. So let's leave it at this. It's your choice. If you're a big fan and you're a truther, hold him. If you're not, let him go or trade him. I mean, you package him with something special and get rid of him. But I mean, I don't even know who's going to take that unless the kid's an India guy.
Yeah, I'll go out there, and I just want to say this because Jonathan India is a big name right now. The thing with him is if it's the same injury, this could be bothering him all year long. So I don't like that. The Reds aren't a good team. They've been really bad, and without him, they're going to be even worse. So I do want to say this, guys. Keep in mind, if you're looking for a streamer at any point in time, go out there and stream against the Reds. That's always a safe bet. We're going to keep it pushing, though. Altuve's back today, so get him back in your lineups. That's all that really needs to be said there. I'm sure he's going to be better than he's been so far. This one kind of stinks. Mitch Haniger with a grade 2 ankle sprain, and he just came off the COVID IL, so that's just a bad luck for Mitch Haniger. Get him on your COVID ILs, and I think I rank him a little bit higher than Indy. I think he's going to come back and hit some bombs in that good Seattle lineup. Matt, any thoughts on Haniger?
This is a shame, but it'll be back soon.
All right, keep it pushing. Looks like Brandon Belt is hitting the COVID IL for the Giants. Just once again, get him on the COVID IL. This one is a little bit more actionable, and once again, should have mentioned this at the top of the episode, but this is our infamous waiver wire episode that's everyone seemed to have been loving, week 4 waiver wire. We're going to get into later in the episode some closers to add. So Mark Melanson hitting the COVID IL opens up a spot for we're going to get a guy we're going to get into later in the episode. So guys, keep please listening. We're going to get into the waiver wire segment right after the news and notes. Keep it pushing. Mike Clevenger's coming off the IL to start Tuesday, which is awesome. Get him back in your lineups. I think he's going to be great at some point this year. Might not be right away, but I think Mike Clevenger is going to be great for fantasy teams this year. Keep it pushing. Tommy Edmond got a hip flexor, but it looks like it's day-to-day on him. He should be back in the lineup sooner than later. Just get him on your bench for now. Keep it pushing. Shohei Ohtani is a little banged up, but I did watch some of that Angels game today, and he did pinch it. I do want to say this with Ohtani. He looked a little slow up the first baseline, It didn't look great. I think they're trying to tell him to hold back, a little bit there. So we'll see how things look with him. Just keep an eye on Ohtani at the moment. Matt's boy, one of the guys we highlighted on the Waiver Wire segment last week, with Jock, man, he's got a grade 1 abductor strain, so I'm not sure what's going on with him, what the timeline's looking like, but get him on your bench right now, maybe possible IL stint, unfortunately.
They're saying right now it's not happening. Just a heads up.
Okay. Yeah. So possible. Might not. At the moment, it's looking okay. See, the thing with that is that always bothers me because they say the same thing about Chris Bryant last week. I hate that some of these teams just aren't upfront about it, So we'll see with Jock there. Hopefully things get better for him. He's been on a power surge lately. If anyone did drop him, by the way, I'd say go out there and snag him.
And it's actually not an abductor strain. It's a groin.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's a grind strain for Jock Peterson.
Grade 1. Oh, right. So it's counterproductive. So I mean,
what's that?
It's actually yelling at it says groin up top, and then it says grade 1 abductor strain.
Yeah, that's what I saw. So I don't know. Well, he's just banged up, guys. So just keep an eye on him.
Let's get our stuff together, Yahoo.
Yeah, I know. Right? Another guy who's actually been hot here, Andrew Vaughn of the Chicago White Sox. That's a hand injury for him. He did not play again today. That's Monday. Once again, he's been off to a hot start. Andrew Vaughn, that I just want to highlight, hitting 283, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs for that White Sox team. He's only 63% owned. So you know what? If he's out there in your leagues, I'd say go out there and give him a shot. He was a high-end prospect, and that White Sox team is going to rebound sooner than later. I'll go out there and I'll guarantee that. They actually did win today, 3-0. So we'll keep it pushing, though. Bobby Witt did get a hit on the wrist the other day by a pitch, but he is in the lineup tonight. That's Monday, once again. So just get Bobby Witt back in your lineup. So he's going to find that hot streak sooner than later. I know he's been heating up a little bit over the past 2 weeks, but I guarantee that he hits that stride. Matt, I want to say anything about your boy Bobby Witt real quick?
Just hoping he starts finding a ball to the bat. I mean, his average is pretty much in the tubes, to start off the season, but to be expected with, finally getting to the show. But it looks like it's coming up. I mean, he hit pretty good last week. He hit 1 for 3 today. He's getting there. I think, we got a couple more weeks before we actually see some real Bobby Witt, but he's definitely going to bounce back. Yeah,
I would honestly even go as far as to say he's a buy low right now. If you guys can go out there and get him in your league, in your leagues, go out there and do it. I'm not saying overpay for him, but if people are afraid and they're nervous right now, go out there and if you could throw Nathan Avaldi at him, see what happens. Maybe in a redraft league you get that trade done. In dynasty league it's going to be a little bit harder to acquire him, but in redraft right now I definitely think he's a go out there and he's a buy low candidate. Our last little note here on one of my favorite players, Robinson Cano, got cut by the Mets. It's going to be interesting to see where he lands because he did have a pretty good spring training, but then he's off to a slow start here. A little bit older of a player. I think if he goes out there and he signs a deal, even look at a team like right now, the Reds. If he goes out there, it's a good ballpark to hit in. I think he could be fantasy relevant at some point this year, depending on where he goes. Even if he goes to a place like Colorado, we'll see. Any thoughts down Cano, Matt? We just want to get into the infamous Waiver Wire segment here, the fantasy MDs on the wire.
Yeah, dude, let's just hit it. So, we'll just roll into our first guy of our Waiver Wire section, and that's going to be Chris Paddock. And Chris Paddock, which is a surprising name here, but he seems to have some fantasy relevance. And he got traded to the Milwaukee Brewers from San Diego.
The Twins.
Minnesota Twins. The Twins. My bad, guys.
You're good.
And he's going up against tonight, actually. He's going right now.
Baltimore.
So right now through 2 innings, this is live, by the way. He has no Ks, no strikes, and no ERA, so nothing. He's chilling right now.
Yeah, good.
But, so far on the season, he's got 14 innings, 13 Ks, a 3.68 ERA, and a 1.16 whip. And then the other day when he pitched on April 26th, no W, but he got 6 Ks, 1.59 ERA, 1.06. And then the start before that, 4 Ks, 3.60 ERA, and a 1 whip. So,
Matt, how many innings did he throw in those?
Let me see here. So we got...
I'm just curious how the longevity. Is he giving you innings?
5 apiece.
Good.
So they're decent.
He's eligible for the win, though. That's good.
Yeah, so he's definitely worth the ad at this point. I mean, the upside's there from, what he did his rookie season and, the expectations. And, maybe San Diego just wasn't a good environment for him. Maybe there was something else going on, but hey, maybe he figured it out. Let's just let's scoop him up because it's worth an ad at this point.
Yeah, I'll chime in with you there, my brother. 42% owned on Yahoo. That's Chris Paddock right now, Minnesota Twins. Recently added this year. I do like the outlook on him for short term right now. Let's see what's going on with him. Let's give him the chance. Yeah. He's still only 26 years old. He deserves it. Maybe something happened there in San Diego. High expectations coming off that fantastic rookie year. I'll be honest with you. In one of my big time keeper leagues, I kept him based off that rookie year. Didn't work out so well for me. But you know what? I'm still rooting for the kid. I think I like the numbers so far this year. He had a tasty matchup tonight. I'm not sure who he lines up for in that second start, but you know what? He's worth the ad at 42% owned right now. Starting pitcher is they're flying off with injuries. Some are underperforming, so you can always use another good starting pitcher. I think Chris Paddock deserves the chance. We'll keep it pushing though here with our waiver wire segment. Somebody who I made a point to go out there and add. We talked about him last week, so I'm really not going to do a huge deep dive on him, but that's Corey Kluber of the Tampa Bay Rays. I do want to say he's still only 51% owned on Yahoo. Guys, what are we doing here? On the season, it's 20 innings pitched, 18 Ks, 3.05 ERA, and a 1.16 WHIP. My thing with Corey Kluber, and once again, not to do a huge deep dive, is that Tampa Bay knows how to manage older pitchers. They've done it with guys like Rich Hill. They've done it with a lot of guys. They even manage their young pitchers well. So I think they're going to know when to take him out of the games. They're not going to push him further than he can go. He has a tasty matchup against Oakland on May 4th. So go out there and get him, guys. 51% owned, Corey Kluber. I'm not going to sit here and keep going about him. But my brother Matt, Corey Kluber?
Yeah, me and Adam. We talked about him, so we don't really need to do a deep dive. So I guess we could just keep on moving there, and that's Michael Lorenzo. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad.
Michael Lorenzen.
Lorenzen.
If you don't mind, my brother, let me take the lead here. I added him for his last start, and I watched most of it. He looked fantastic. The line doesn't really really show how good he did. He pitched 8.2 innings. He only had 2 strikeouts, which is a little concerning for me. Don't get me wrong. The 2 strikeouts, he's not a big strikeout guy, a little concerning for me, but he only gave up 2 runs. But the thing was, they threw him back out there in the 9th to get the shutout. He had about 96 pitches. So he was tired. It's his deepest start. He hasn't been a starter for that long in his career. He was a two-way player. They actually used him to convince Ohtani to come and be a two-way guy there. I actually read that story the other day, which I found interesting. But the thing with Lorenzen is he has a few different pitches that are very good. I think that he reminds me of Kyle Hendricks, somebody that is a very good control pitcher. They have good pitches, and he's not going to be a huge K guy, but he's 31% rostered on Yahoo right now. I think, Michael Lorenzen of the Angels is a great guy to go out there. You throw him out there. He's got a, once again, tasty matchup against the Nationals May 6th. So somebody go out there, you got him this weekend, you see what happens. I'm a fan of Lorenzen.
Yeah. The guy is good. Like, he keeps the ERA low, I guess, but I'm just not a too big of a fan because the Kepler 9 is pretty horrendous. He went 8 innings the other day.
That's the one I was talking about. His last start, yeah.
And 2 Ks is not good. But
that is true.
He's not hurting you, and he got the W. So that's the only upside. So let's just call what it is. He's a good pickup if you need a.
I think he's a juice to orange type of guy.
Yeah, you know what? If he gets you the W, he's on a good team. So there's a good chance of that at least. But let's keep it moving. And this is Christian Javier. And
once again, talked about him last week, by the way, guys.
Yeah. So Dom scooped him up. I'm hoping he's here to stay. We'll see how the Astros want to be nice and actually keep him up this time. But Dom, do you know how his last start was? I'm trying to pull that up. Actually, I got it here.
If you got it, go ahead.
Yeah. So it was he got the win, pitched 5 innings, 4 Ks, 3.60 ERA with a 1.2 WHIP. So it's not horrendous. It's his first start in over a year. So you know what? I expected to get better, in the fact that it was that good from the jump. I'm going to say it's probably more to come from that, and probably build upon that from there.
Yeah, tomorrow he's got Seattle. Seattle's not a great team, but they're not a horrible team either. You know, the bats are actually starting to come alive a little bit there with Winker and friends. But I think Javier will go out there and he'll be serviceable. But my whole thing is, even if he's not, it's his first couple starts here. I think he's going to hang in there in that rotation as long as he isn't horrendous. And he's been good so far this year. I'll read you off his stats so far in the season. Christian Javier, 13 innings, 16 Ks, 0.9 whip with a 1.35 ERA. And he got the win in his last start, as Matt stated there. So, you know, he's 54% owned on Yahoo. Go out there and get him before he blows up. I'll tell you, I think at some point, Christian Javier is going to be very good for fantasy owners. But we'll keep it pushing. Here's somebody who's a little bit interesting. Daniel Lynch of the Kansas City Royals actually pitched well against the Yankees the other day. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring him up. The red hot Yankees, by the way. High-end prospect for the Kansas City Royals. I'll read you off Daniel Lynch's line so far. So far this year, he's had 4 starts, 2 wins, 1 loss, 3.86 ERA, 21 innings, 20 strikeouts, only 5 walks, and he has a 1.14 whip. He's 25 years old. He was a highly touted prospect for the Royals. I'd say you can go out there and you give him a shot. He's not one of my favorite guys here, but we like to, you know, here on the MDs, just highlight on the Waiver Wire episode, just guys that are doing well and guys that we think could be useful in even the deepest of leagues. Right now, only 13% owned. So, you know, he's available even maybe some of those 12, 14-man, 15-man leagues. I think he could do worse than Daniel Lynch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's one of those desperation, you know, stream, you know, you can frigging pitch and ditch on somebody. That's kind of this kind of guy. You're not going to get destroyed, and you're going to get at least a shot at a W and a couple Ks to add to it. And then we got the last guy here, which is a surprising name. I didn't even see him here. So that's Madison Baumgardner. And, you know, we all know the name, you know, what he used to be and whatnot. And, you know, clearly he's a little washed, but he is performing pretty well. So he is worth an ad, but he's not the Baumgardner of past. 1, he's on Arizona. And 2,
yeah, that's true.
Baum doesn't got that lightning arm where he's getting you a whole bunch of Ks anymore, because these are his last couple of starts. So the start over the weekend was 2 Ks. The start before that was 4 Ks, 5 Ks, 2 Ks, 2 Ks. But the ERA is good. So he had a 1.8, a 0, a 0, 1.8, and a 3. So you know what? That's where he's going to be your beneficial and getting the innings to boot. So he has eligibility for wins, eligibility for no, not for quality start. You need 1 more inning.
I don't even know about the wins.
Well, with the 5 ERA, if somehow Arizona decides to put the ball to the bat and get a W, he has the.
I'm thinking maybe they move him. Hopefully he gets moved. I'll say this with Baumgardner. So far in the year, we just full stat line. He's pitched 23 innings. He's got a 1.17 ERA, a 1.13 WHIP, only 15 strikeouts in those 23 innings for Madison Baumgardner. So, as Matt said, not going to be big on the strikeouts anymore, but I think he's going to be able to suppress runs and give you a solid WHIP. Last year, he had a 1.18 WHIP. The ERA was 4.67, but I believe he got banged up there at some point. He was pitching pretty well before he went down. So I think you could do worse than Madison Baumgardner. Once again, he is 33% rostered on Yahoo right now. So if you're going out there this week and he gets Miami on May 4th, so that's a pretty good matchup right now. I'd say I recommend him for this week. I do want to throw one more guy out there, Matt, on the pitchers, and that's your boy. I wanted to see what he's owned. Merrill Kelly. If you want to talk about your boy real quick, I got to see where he's owned. I did want to put him on this list for today, and I don't know why I did not.
It's because he's 60% owned.
Well, 60% owned, but you know what? He still needs to get up higher than that because I'll read you his stat line so far. Merrill Kelly of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I just remembered because we talked about Baumgardner, but 28 innings, 26 Ks, 1.27 ERA, a 1.02 WHIP, and 2 wins for Merrill Kelly. Matt, you've been recommending him. I'll let you take the train here, brother.
Yeah, I mean, the kid's doing what I thought he would do since I've discovered him, essentially. And you know what? He had that one bad year in 2020, but who didn't? So, I mean, he's not really like a K per 9, but right now he's doing it. So yeah. I'm going to ride that wave, and I'm going to say, hey, let's lock and load and take him and call it a day. He's not going to let you down until he does. So let's see what happens. All right, so we got the bets, and this is kind of where we've as we've said in the news part where everybody just decided to hit the IL or get some COVID, the little Rona to stick around.
Oh yeah.
There's some people to get. So we'll start off with our favorite here, and that's IKF.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Yeah,
the man, the myth, the legend.
I cannot say his name for the life of me.
IKF works. That what's funny, Matt? That's what I tell my dad to call him. When he came to the Yankees, I was like, "There's no way my dad's ever going to be able to say this guy's name." I was pushing IKF from the beginning.
Yeah.
But man, Matt, if you don't mind, let me take the lead here, brother. This is one of my guys. I was big on him coming into the year. I got him in some of my deeper leagues. I'll read you IKF's line right now. So far in the year, in 20 games, he's got 14 runs, no bombs, but he's not really a home run guy, so we're not really expecting any of that from him. 7 RBIs, 2 steals, and he's hitting .303. I'll say this, in the New York Yankees lineup, the league leading, the best team in baseball at this moment, New York Yankees, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is going to be great, man. He's going to give you runs. He's going to give you steals. He's going to give you batting average. At the moment, I'm going to check his ownership. It's 25% on Yahoo, guys. Eligible at only shortstop, but guys, go out there and add him. That needs to be around 50% in my opinion. Yeah, he's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's like a nice little, runs boost because, I mean, the kid gets on base and he has, bats in the front, bats in the back, bats all around him. He's gonna drive him in for you. So, Dom, you can take the next one too because I'm not really a.
Yes, sir. That's Sheldon Noisy. This is a guy who I heard a little bit of unironically noise about in the offseason. He plays for the Oakland Athletics. On Yahoo, he's eligible at second base and third base. Only 37% owned. I'll read you his line. It's 7 runs, 2 bombs, 13 RBIs, 3 steals, and hitting .328. Now, I'm not too familiar with him myself. As I said, I've only really heard about him coming into this offseason. As we're talking about him, I'm pulling up some minor league numbers. It looks like he had a great 2021 in the minors where he hit .293 with 6 steals, 13 home runs, and 57 runs, 56 RBIs in 78 games. So I mean, he's all right. Came over from the Dodgers. I think it's maybe a juice to orange situation here. If you're missing somebody at second or third, you ride the wave and see where it goes. I'm not saying he's a hold or he's going to be fantastic, but it's somebody who's putting up great numbers that, here on the MDs, once again, we just like to highlight everybody because you never know what the future holds. He's only 27 years old, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a solid pickup for everybody. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong there. I really don't have much to say on him, to be completely honest.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I'll just throw out the next guy here too, Matt. This is another guy that I personally have been seeing over the past couple days. That's Travis Demerit of the Atlanta Braves. He's an interesting player, man. What's up?
That's how you say it.
Yeah, Travis Demerit. He is only 6% owned on Yahoo. Travis Demerit is second base, shortstop, and outfield eligible on Yahoo. So far for the Atlanta Braves, he has 6 runs, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, a .375 batting average. Now, I'll just highlight this. I was watching the game the other day, and he made this fantastic catch, and I was like, who is this guy? So, you know what? I threw him on my waiver wire, and I said, I'm going to see where this goes. He's been doing very well lately. As I just pointed out his stats this a second ago. He's 27 years old, so it's interesting. The Atlanta Braves are great. I think you go out and you pick up Travis Demerit right now. There's no reason why this guy's only should be 6% owned. I mean, he's hitting near the bottom of the lineup there in Atlanta, but it's Atlanta. They're going to get it together sooner than later. Mm-hmm. I like the kid. I want to see where this goes.
I mean, I'm glad you pointed him out to me because, to be honest, I didn't know who he was before you even named him.
No, this is what we're here for. This is what we're here for, brother.
But I think he's a good ad, especially if you're struggling. You lost so many guys this week, and you need a nice little fill. And I mean, the guy's got like 17 eligibility spaces, so you just put him everywhere. I think he's pretty great. But let's move on because the next 2 guys that we were going to mention are hurt. So
go ahead, take the lead, brother.
So we'll just move on to my boy Max Kepler. Somebody that was a big prospect and kind of was a little disappointing. but it seems like he's kind of figuring it out so far this year. I think that, what we're seeing on the year average of 257 batting average, I think is kind of what the norm is going to be. Possibly can get it up to 265 by the end of the season. But let me read you off his full stat count on the year. So he's got 9 runs, 5 bombs, 12 ribbies, and a steal. And he's batting 257. And last week he hit 5 ribbies, 4 bombs, 9 ribbies, and he batted 350. So it seems like some things clicked. And guess what? At least this week he's worth an ed, because guess who he's playing this week?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Short porch, terrible pitching, terrible team. So, it's one of those things where, take advantage of it. And, if you guys play DFS, he's probably somebody you want to throw in your lineups, and bet the over on the bat for the bombs every single day. But we're not a betting channel, but I figured I'd throw that out there. But
it always helps. I'll tell you this, Matt. When I saw you added him this morning in one of our leagues, I was like, that's a great move, because I myself saw that he's playing Baltimore 4 times this week, and it's a great matchup, to be honest with you. I'll say this: he's 41% owned on Yahoo. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but if you look back at that 2019, he had 252 with 36 bombs, so he's got power. So I would say it's kind of a juice to orange situation here. See where this goes. Maybe after this great week, he keeps it going. That Minnesota team is starting to look up. I know Correa's hitting a little better of recent. I know Polanco's picking up a little bit of recent. So I think it's interesting to see where this one goes. Matt, one thing I do want to point out, one of them, both of these guys are a little banged up, but we were going to talk about Ramon Loriano of the Oakland Athletics. He's coming off that suspension. May 8th is the eligibility date on that, but he slept the wrong way the other day. That's why I did want to bring it up. I don't think it's too big of an injury. So he's going to miss an extra couple additional days here. So maybe May 8th turns into like May 11th. But, I believe I saw he was like under 50% owned, right? Actually 29% owned. So he's an interesting steals power combo when he comes back. Maybe Oakland winds up showing him off for a couple weeks and moves him, because they haven't really got, nothing to go for. I don't know why they'd keep a guy like that when they've sold everything else that was worth anything. So if he goes to a good team, that's where I could really see his value spiking this year. Matt, any thoughts on Ramon before we move on?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the kid. I forget what he was suspended for, nor that it doesn't matter at this point.
I think it was a PED.
Yeah. And honestly, the PEDs didn't even help him last year. But, anyway, I think the kid does have some true upside. He's still a little young, and, the steals are definitely something that's nice. And if he does get moved, like Oakland loves to, just call it a day and just, ship out everybody, I think that he can go into a really nice position. And I think that also, too, he'll get some good production, at least for you, as a fill-in guy on the days you guys get players off, and cover for some injury guys here and there. But you know what? Let's talk about the other guy that got hurt. And
we might as well. You added him. I think it's worth talking about.
So I really just want to cry, because I literally just added him this morning. So I made 2 ads this morning.
Yeah, I gotta say, my poor brother Matt can't catch a break in fantasy this year. The injury bug has been eating him up, and it's been tough. It's been tough.
It's brutal. I mean, I'm just you gotta be kidding me here. So I mean, he started off real hot too. I mean, he's got 4 stolen bases already. He's batting 300. I mean, once
again, that's Joey Wendell of the Miami Marlins. But once again, just in case anyone forgot,
and he's another one that got 17 position eligibility. He's got second, third, and shortstop.
Yes, sir.
I mean, let me read his stats, though. So, last week he didn't hit a great average, but, I mean, he had 3 runs, a bomb, 3 ribbies, 2 steals, out of 188. I'm going to take that production from a guy scooped off the waiver wire, that especially with second base being so bad and, with all the injuries I've been experiencing, I'll take it. I mean, shoot, it's one of those things where he could fit in anywhere. If the kid's 52% rostered, I think that he's going to be probably back in a couple days. I don't think there's any IL right now. It's just he's sitting out due to general soreness on Monday.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll be playing probably tomorrow. And And quite honestly, I mean, prior to that, he was hitting 300. So I think that's kind of.
Yeah. I did want to say, Matt,
return.
on the year, the kid's hitting 300 with 9 runs, a bomb, 8 RBIs, and 4 steals.
Right.
So I actually like the Joey Wendell pickup when I saw that one as well. I was like, all right, Matt, I see what you're doing here. Miami's they're letting guys run. Look at Jazz. Look at their team there. So I believe he's going to get some steals. Wendell actually, believe it or not, was an all-star last year. I don't know. That's a trivia question. If for anybody out there, he actually did make the all-star team last year. Last year he didn't have a great season, but I will read you his statistics. In 136 games, he had 73 runs, 11 bombs, 54 RBIs, 8 steals, and he hit 265. So, he contributes a little bit everywhere, gives you a little bit of everything. So I think he could totally do worse than Joey Wendell. And you know how Tampa is, he probably wasn't playing every day last year. I think Miami lets him loose, with the hot hitting and everything. And
Joey Wendell bats last year.
Yeah. I think Miami though that could even turn into a 500 if he's playing every day, if he's healthy. I do like Joey Wendell going forward. So moving on from the bats, we're gonna do a little bit of closer talks here. I teased it earlier, so I'm gonna lead with this one. With Mark Melancon going down, Ian Kennedy steps up here for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he's going to close. And I'll tell you this, man, he's been a guy who's been solid as a closer in his career. He even was a good starter at one point in his career, former New York Yankee, so I do know the guy pretty well. I'll say this, I wouldn't be shocked if he took that closer job and ran away with it, because looking back, I'm trying to find what year it was. It was 2019 that Ian Kennedy had 30 saves, 3.41 ERA, 1.27 whip, so the whip's a little high, 63 innings, 73 strikeouts. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ian Kennedy came out here and just ran away with this Arizona Diamondbacks job. He already, I believe, has picked up a save. Numbers don't look great here to start the year, but I think he figures it out. I like Ian Kennedy. I think you should go out there and grab him. Matt, if you want to rant a little bit about him, I'll pull up his ownership percentage for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, Kennedy, old man Kennedy, might as well call him JFK because he's that old. He's been around the league. He's always been like a serviceable pitcher. I think that a closer role is a lot better for him due to the fact that, he's old. He comes with a cane, not crutches at least. And but he'll get the job done while what's his face is hurt. So let's move on.
Melanson. 11% owned for Ian Kennedy, by the way, guys. You can go out there and get him pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. So this next guy is actually really interesting. I didn't realize how valuable he could be. So Ryan Helsilly.
I believe it's Hellsley. I'm not super familiar, but I believe it's Ryan Hellsley.
We'll go with Hellsley. Sorry, I do not have a third grade reading level.
I do. I'm sorry too to Mr. Ryan here of the St. Louis Cardinals, because we're not super familiar with it yet, but we will be soon.
We will be. So I'm doing a little reading. I'm doing a little homework on him. So I actually got asked about it in our DMs this morning. Should I pick him up? Should I not? And I actually didn't even have time. He ended up doing it before I even say anything, and it was a good move. So he got the save the other day. He's pitching, getting the final closing pitch, 2 innings yesterday. He got the save, and it looks like Gallegos really isn't doing a good job as a closer. And it seems like he's going to take it, and they're going to put Gallegos in a setup role. So he's coming in, he's going to steal the job. So right now he's 27% owned. And if you got a guy that's going to take over a closing role for St. Louis, I think you go and you scoop him up, you see what happens, and then you go from there. Personally, if he's got the job, take it, and you're gonna be very happy.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'll read Ryan Hellsley's full line here on the season. He's pitched 8.1 innings, 16 Ks, no runs yet, and 0.12 WHIP. I will do want to point this out. He did pitch the 2 innings yesterday, and then they won 1-0 today, and Gallegos got the save, and he had 2 strikeouts and looked pretty good. So I don't know if that's just because Hellsley pitched 2 innings yesterday and they didn't want to throw him back out there. It seems very plausible, but this looks like it could have turned into a little bit of a committee. But I do like this kid Hellsley. His numbers do look really, really enticing to me. Like Matt said, only 27% owned for Hellsley on Yahoo. He actually was picked up in our big money league this morning. It was a great move. I do like him. So let's just keep moving on from there. Our last guy here. Ooh,
Sorry.
bless you, my brother. Bless you. Our last guy here is going to be Tanner Rainey of the Washington Nationals. And I mean, they're not great, but I will say this: Tanner Rainey's numbers do look good so far. It's 7 innings, 7 Ks, 3 saves, no runs yet on the year, and a 1 WHIP. Guys, you could do worse. 53% owned on Yahoo. I'd say just go out there and get him. Out of the 3 we spoke about, I mean, I don't know where he lands, to be honest. They're all kind of pretty close. I'd say Hellsley might be the number 1 there because it looks like he could run away with that job and be pretty good. The other 2 are kind of around the same, just both on meddling teams, and they're both all right. But I guess if I had to order them, Hellsley 1, Tanner Rainey 2, Kennedy 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. I mean, I probably wouldn't even bother with the other 2. I think Hellsley's just the most valuable. But
Definitely.
I think personally, guys, if you're going to go out and you really need a few positions, this is what I would do. I would set my priority up like this, right? So I think that you go add Christian Javier as number 1 overall waiver priority for the week. I think that then you would look at Max Kepler for the week, especially if you need to manufacture a win, if you're in my position. And then I think you get Ryan Helsley no matter what. Just due to the fact that he's gonna have that role. And then, supporting staff, I think that Chris Paddock is probably your next best option, especially if you need pitching. And I know a lot has gone down. And then, I mean, at that point, you got, if Joey Wendell plays tomorrow, I'm probably prioritizing him. And then everybody else is a crapshoot. If you haven't picked up any of the guys we talked about over the past couple episodes, probably listen to what we said about them and go back and listen to them.
Yeah, I'll say this here, my brother, before we sign off. Out of all the names that Matt mentioned, the only 2 that I want to highlight there that I do think are worthy to go out there and get is Corey Kluber, man. He's been off to a very good start, and you guys just proven his whole career that he can be good. I think we're going to see him age like a little bit like these Justin Verlanders and Kershaw's, guys that learn how to pitch with their stuff not being as good. I just love him being in Tampa. I think he's a great ad. And as far as the bats go, IKF, man. I just think the runs, batting average, and steals are going to be super useful. And I know he's only shortstop eligible, but I could see him maybe getting some spot starts at other positions. Who knows? If he gets a couple starts at catcher, gets the catcher eligibility back, man, you got to steal there. But I'm just throwing darts down that one. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just like IKF once again, just really for runs and steals and batting average. And I'll say this. Once again, Travis Demerit of the Atlanta Braves, super interesting. 27-year-old, getting some burn there. He plays good defense. The bat looks good so far. He's quick. Somebody definitely to keep an eye on as far as waiver goes. So guys, looks like we're going to wrap here. We're going to call that one Waiver Wire Week 4 for you guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, fantasymds@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram. Anywhere else you can find us. We're on all social media platforms. We thank you guys as always. Appreciate all the love and everything. We're here for you guys. And once again, we'll see you guys on Wednesday or Thursday. So until then,
Peace.
see you.